Alright everybody, welcome back to the 𝘲𝑗𝑗 YouTube channel. Today we'll do another segment on what Mechanic Steve is doing, what you're seeing him do. I'm a mechanic, but I don't know everything, and I haven't watched these videos beforehand, so we'll be going through them together, and I'll be talking about what I think he's doing. I may get some things wrong, there may be a thing or two that I don't know what he's doing, so we can discuss those in the comments down below together. If you don't know what it is either and you're interested, just check out the comments, and I will try and pin the ones to the top that are most relevant. Your feedback's been awesome in the previous videos. We'll keep doing these. Hopefully get caught up with Mechanic Steve and get those videos out when he does them, so we can get a better idea for what he's doing. Again, if you're a master mechanic and you know everything, that segment of the video may not be for you, but feel free to keep watching. Give it a big old like and subscribe. And again, thanks for all the support. So we'll jump right into that video. Okay. All right, here we have Mechanic Steve. He's using a torque wrench with a little needle indicator. And it looks like he is tightening down a cam bolt on what would be a gasoline motor, I believe. So he's got his friend holding that cam gear with his two tools. Those are pretty cool little tools in his pry bar. That way Steve can torque it down without twisting the whole motor. So pretty smart. Looks like they're going to turn it over and make sure that nothing's hitting. Make sure they got them lined up correctly. Okay, it's a big old piston, probably for a diesel motor, and Mechanic Steve here is putting those rings on that piston. Each piston has at least 3 different rings. The oil ring's composed of multiple rings. Yeah, it's definitely diesel, looking at the top of that where the fuel combusts. But they have 3 rings, so one's for compression, there's a middle ring, there's an oil ring that keeps oil from coming up, so, and that there was the bearing that Steve put in the bottom of that connecting rod. Okay, here we got Steve running a big old bolt down on the top of this motor here. Looks like he might be pressing a sleeve in that cylinder. Yeah, so these motors have sleeves. You can kind of see them inside that cylinder. There's like that second little ring. That's a whole metal sleeve that can come in and out. That way you can essentially infinitely rebuild that motor. So it looks like he was putting one of those in. Here's Mechanic Steve's big old impact gun. He's putting those 2 tires together from that dual axle. And there he's picking them up. So big heavy tires. Yeah, hardworking guy. Probably rolling those over to the truck and gonna put those on. Okay, this looks like the head of a motor. It's pretty weird. I've not seen one like that with the lifters just sticking out of an aluminum block, but he's torquing that head down. You have to torque them down in a sequence, usually starting from the middle going out. Well, always when you're torquing it down. And he's looking at his torque gauge there to make sure he gets it tight enough. Looks like it was kind of popping a little right there. Can't tell if he was doing that on purpose or if he just needed to put some more oil on that bolt so that it doesn't do that. Okay, looks like he might have got a scan tool. I noticed recently this might be a scan tool. He might have always had it, but this is maybe the first time it's been introduced. It definitely looks like a scan tool, which hooks up to the truck's computer, so when they're running it, they can look at live data or trouble codes and things like that. So, okay, it's a big old injector for a diesel motor. It's a big diesel motor there. And looks like he's dropping that injector in. I may have blinked, he might be putting 2 in, but it looks like that was probably the same one. Yeah, he probably put 2 in, and there goes the 3rd. So yeah, he'll put those injectors in and bolt them down real tight, and that's what'll put the fuel into the motor when it's running. Okay, big old fuel filter, diesel fuel. He's emptying that out. It looks old, so I don't think he's gonna reuse it. Looks like, and it looks dirty, so I think he's just illustrating here how dirty that filter actually was. Yeah, that one's more green. It also looks like an old filter, so I don't think he'd be putting that one in either. And they'll probably use that to wash parts with that fuel there. They'll leave it in that bucket and they'll wash other parts with it since diesel's a good solvent. Pretty cool. Let's do the next video here. It's called "To Rest is Prepare for a Longer Journey Ahead." And I like Mechanic Steve's fortune cookie style quotes at the beginning of all his videos. It might just be a phrase that's common in China or wherever he's from that's lost in translation, but I think it's pretty cool. Okay. We'll probably skip through this one. We kind of showed Sometimes he uses the same clips, but here's him eating. And, you know, to work hard, you got to eat hard. So, yeah, we'll go ahead and skip through. Okay, here's him eating again. That's cool looking. I have no idea what that is, or why he poured his soda or beer out. I don't know if that's beer or soda. That looks really cool what he's eating though. Looks almost like a waffle, but it might be noodles or something. I don't know. All right. That's what this video is probably about, them resting. So we'll review it anyways. Here they're cooking with a huge pile of car parts behind them. That's probably worth a lot at the scrapyard. You know, if you find one that gives you a good price for your metal, that's probably worth a lot of money. I'm cooking, let's see. Still cooking, that's cool. Eating hard, working hard, eating hard. Yeah, I guess that's what this video is about. That's fun. It just reminds me of long summer days. Working all day long and eating a lot of food. All right. Here we got Mechanic Steve. Looks like he's putting, you know, I don't know what that section of the transmission is called, but it's the last piece on the transmission where the drive shaft connects to. So if you know what that's called, leave it in the comments. I don't. Here's a big old leaf spring. He's tightening that bolt down to hold all those springs together. Give that bolt a little cut and hit it, pop it off. So it's cool. He's gonna put that underneath, you know, support the tires and absorb a lot of the impact. Okay, here's his impact gun. We're looking again at his, I can't tell what that is. If it's a transmission or if it's one of those extra gearboxes that a semi has to reduce the gearing even further. But I didn't get a good look at it if they showed the whole thing. So, okay, here they are heating up oil, maybe to expand a part so they can put it on. Let's see what we're doing. Yeah, looks like a gear. Yeah, so they heated that gear up in hot oil so that the metal expands. That way they can push it down onto, you know, whatever it was riding on. Okay, so that's those cylinder sleeves I was talking about. Here he's pulling one out, whereas on the other one I believe he was putting it in. And if I was wrong, just let me know in the comments. Yeah, so essentially I kind of mentioned it. A motor that has sleeves in it like that, you can essentially rebuild it, you know, an infinite amount of times. If something happens inside that cylinder, you can always just replace the sleeve. Other things can happen that may not let you rebuild it, but okay, here he's putting on this part of the axle. I'm not sure exactly what that's called either, so if you know the exact name of that, let us know. He rammed it with the tire to get it pushed all the way on. It obviously bolts on with that tire, so, but I don't know what that is called specifically, but I believe it had the axle shaft in it. Okay, got Steve eating here again. Gotta work hard, gotta eat a lot, so. All right, here they're taking apart one of the transmissions. Has a lot of gears in it. I don't know, yeah, we'll see if they're gonna try and rebuild it. I don't know if the clip's gonna be long enough to illustrate that, but that's the inside of one of those transmissions. It's pretty cool. And you can see how the gears are different sizes. So depending on what speed you're trying to go, obviously you can assume that different sets of those gears are going to interact with each other. Okay, here we got Steve putting some rings on pistons again. They appear to be diesel as well. And you can tell because of the shape they have in the top. However, I can't tell that well from here, so they may be gasoline and just have recessed parts for the valves, but it looks like it's more in the center for the combustion of the diesel fuel, so it's probably a diesel motor. Okay, let's go to the next video. Okay, here we've got that clip we've seen before, mentioned it in the first one, where he pulls that plug on the oil pan and then he sticks his hand back in the oil. So Pretty cool. Just draining the oil out of that motor and giving some fresh oil. Hope it run longer. And it's a lot of oil too. Got a big old pot under it. Okay. Can't tell what he was doing there. Looks like that may be the injector pump for the fuel system, based on the fact that it has 6 outlets there on top, and when he's turning it you can see fuel come out. I'm assuming that's probably like the high pressure fuel pump or injector pump or something like that, I believe they're called. Yeah, you can see fuel spurting out of the tops of those, so I'm pretty sure that's what that is. Again, if I'm wrong, let me know. Ooh, he's got a big old drive shaft. Those are heavy. They're hollow, but really heavy nonetheless. They're made out of pretty thick metal. So he's got to hold that up. If he doesn't have any helpers, he's got to hold that up by himself and try and line it up perfectly to put those bolts in. And that's pretty tough. It's hard work. Yeah. Okay, here's a cylinder head and some food. Looks like fried shrimp or something. It looks like something happened to that cylinder head. That whole cylinder may have completely gone. Valves might have broken or something. It looks like, regardless, he's hitting something on there to break away whatever's stuck on that cylinder head. So I don't know if they're going to try and reuse it, because sometimes, well, pretty much every time if valves come off or something like that, it's going to ruin it. So okay, that's a cylinder head right there. It's a pretty flat one. So it's a 4-cylinder. You can see the 4 different circles on there. Those are for the cylinders here. And it looks like that might be that same one, because on that 3rd or 2nd cylinder, yeah, there you can see the 3rd one from our view. But it looks like it might be the 2nd of the motor. Oh, probably 3rd. Regardless, it was all gunked up. So those are valves. So he's just getting oil on those valves and dropping them in. And that is for those motors that have specific heads for each cylinder, it looks like. So, wow. Looks like a pneumatic valve lapping tool. So it looks like it spins it and moves it up and down so that those surfaces grind together and create a seamless finish. That way air doesn't get through. But again, some motors, it looks like it's probably off a 6-cylinder, have 6 individual heads, which is pretty cool. I've never worked on one, but they're cool. Okay, here we got Steve cooking again. All right, everybody, that's it. Thanks for watching again. This is the Ernest P YouTube channel. If you haven't already, please consider liking and subscribing, especially subscribing if you don't mind having one more subscription hanging in around there. We'll go at the bottom of the list happily. So thanks again. If you have any questions, comments, I'll try and respond to everybody. Leave some comments down below, anything you want to see me do or talk about specifically. Again, feel free to leave that down below and I'll try and interact with everyone. Thanks a million. Thanks again, everybody. As always, have a good day.